To Dr. LMadu, and the topic is the strategic implications of the Horn of Africa. And of course, Dr. LMadu has given us some excellent information concerning some of the real problems dealing with this particular section of Africa and how these problems are related all across the continent. And unless some solution, Dr. LMadu, can be found, I would imagine then we will never be able to solve the problems of famine, starvation, and some of the other problems that simply plague the Horn. Is that what we're saying? Let's continue our conversation in reference to that.
Yeah, well, you know, for example, Somalia exports currently, mostly its exports now comprise of bananas and livestock, since whatever was left of the economy has been completely destroyed by the civil war. I take, for example, Ethiopia. 80% of Ethiopia's income comes from coffee, which was mortgaged to the Soviet Union by the Mengistu regime in order to receive billions of dollars in arms to fight the Eritrean and internal insurrection. Djibouti hardly exports anything apart from livestock. Most of its income comes from the railway, from Addis Ababa to Djibouti, which it charges, and also from tourism. Eritrea hardly exports anything either. After 1998-99 war, the economy is in shambles. The government of Eritrea rejects foreign aid, saying it can do without it, but experience has shown that it couldn't. So Sudan, is a little bit different because of the influx of oil revenue. So that's very important. The economic dependency of the Horn of Africa, is so much that without foreign aid, most of the economies will collapse completely.
Well, Dr. LMadu, since it seems that many of these problems can be said to go back to colonialism, it would seem to me that some of these former colonial countries would feel that they had some kind of responsibility. Is there any kind of forum whereby they can deal with this? Is there anything that you can do to bring them into this, a solution to this, these questions that are on the Horn?
Well, that would be very difficult to do. If you talk about irredentist ambitions, the AU African Union Charter, talks about the inviolability of frontiers. The United Nations Charter also talks about the inviolability of frontiers. Now, if a foreign government, starts saying, well, the Somali government who wants you to forget about the other Somalis in Ethiopia or in Kenya, then they will be accused of interfering in the internal affairs of another sovereign country. You see, that's the problem. But at the same time, those countries will turn around and ask for aid, but they wouldn't want to take care, solving their own internal problems when they're advised to. And that's the problem. They shout, interference in their affairs, but at the same time, they turn around and ask you for money, just like you said a few minutes ago. Why should the U.S. be pumping money into these countries, when they're not listening on how to bring their own people together to solve their internal problems? Most of those problems are solvable. But the thing is that the leaders themselves are so corrupt that they're interested in keeping control of their respective countries.
At any cost.
At any cost. Exploit the ethnic and racial and the religious sentiments of their people for their own advantage. That's what you see all over the continent.
Well, now, what do you see as some of the possible solutions in terms of what goes on there, Dr. LMadu?
Well, I think first of all, most of those countries should not receive any grants or loans from international institutions unless they make far-reaching reforms in their own economic and political systems. That's the only way to bring some of them to listen. For example, some of the French African countries, about almost 80–70% of their income comes from France. A country like Swaziland gets almost 80% of its income from foreign donations now. So some of those countries can be made to listen, if they would implement reforms in their country before, getting assistance from the United States or the United Nations.
And so it's sort of a bleak